Okay, so yeah, Hermes Celebration. So in Happy Science, we have we talk a lot about God, or we talk a lot about Buddha, but we know that Hermes is part of Happy Science, but his teachings are sort of not nearly talked about as much as Buddha or God or Alcantara. So today I thought it would be nice to just try to understand Hermes, what he taught, where he came from, and understand the Hermes side aspect of Happy Science. So if we think about Hermes, who is Hermes? Well, first of all, when we say God, now as we know, Master Okawa teaches that Alcantara is the God of the earth. And the God of the earth has got many of brother souls contained within him that's descended to earth at different times to bring different teachings. So the very last life of this God, Alcantara, was Buddha. But Master teaches in the life before being Buddha that he was Hermes of Greece. So in Happy Science, when we look up here, we see on the wall, we see the sword here. Well, this is called the Sword of Wisdom. And it actually was from a Buddhist teaching, the idea from Manjushri, that with the Sword of Wisdom, you can cut away all your problems. If you have wisdom, there's nothing that can't be solved with wisdom. So the Sword of Wisdom is the way to cut away your problems and difficulties in life, solve your problems with wisdom. On the other side there, that staff, and it's also the staff that Alcantara is holding here, this is the Calyukion staff, or the staff, or Rod of Hermes it was called, or Caduceus wand. And this was, and we're going to see today, this was given to Hermes by Ophelus. Now Ophelus is actually the previous life of Hermes. So if we go back, we have Buddha, then we have Hermes, then we have Ophelus. So Ophelus actually descended from the heavens when Hermes was alive in Greece, aiming to unite the whole of the Mediterranean. And he gifted him this wand to be able to use, to be able to help the people. It's a wand that can create miracles when it's used to help other people and when you believe in its power. So the Happy Science has these two sides, very much in Happy Science. Actually, Hermes is really the god of love and progress. And Buddha, his teaching centered always around wisdom and self-reflection. And so in Happy Science we find the fourfold path, which combines the Hermes thinking and the Buddha thinking. So we have love, wisdom, self-reflection and progress. So Hermes is love and progress, and Buddha is wisdom and self-reflection. And hence these aspects, these two sides of the Alcantara consciousness coming together to create this teaching and this life here. So you could say in one way, Master teaches Hermes was the one that was really guiding Jesus and responsible for guiding Jesus when he was on earth, because he is the God of love. So Hermes' teachings are on love. Buddha's teachings tend to be more about self-help. You have divine nature. By refining yourself, changing yourself, you can change your own life. Whereas the Christian teachers based on Jesus tend to be more about faith in God and receiving God's help. This cable is not too good. It keeps popping out a little bit here. We don't need more cable problems. I just might slide this way a little bit. Yeah, we need some wisdom of a cable, how to plug a cable in. That's moving out, Kaz. That's what's causing it to...
Opening it up.
Some tape? Yes, please. Thank you very much. Some wisdom tape would be good. Okay, sit on there for now. That should be... So, then... Isn't that classic, eh? Never rains, it pours. You're going to see that today. So what I've done is we've got a wonderful movie called Hermes' Love Blows Like the Wind. And the Happy Science is about 8 movies now. And one of the earlier movies was about Hermes and the life of Hermes. So I've taken that and taken some excerpts out of it and thought we can relive the life of Hermes through this movie. So rather than having to watch an hour and a half or 2 hours of movie, I've just taken these excerpts that are relevant for today. So we're going to, and then there is going to be at the end, we'll do a self-reflection on some of these teachings from Hermes, which will only be about 5 minutes. And then at the very end, because I'm going to have to speak quickly today so that we can get this all in, there's about, if we're all keen, and if everyone, because we might be running a little bit late, but there's a meditation on astral travel. See, Hermes, and we're going to see this in here today. Let me just get this so that Kaz can glue that on. One of the things about Hermes when he was teaching was he had the chance to visit the spirit world, right? And so a lot of his teachings were about the spirit world. So, okay. Yeah, so today we're going to be able to see what Hermes was, what he experienced, because that's the thing we can do with anime, right? With anime, and because Master Okawa knows what he experienced as Hermes, he can convey that, and then people using anime can convey it. So even though we're watching like cartoons and things, what it's depicting is actually the real truth, right? So it's great having a technician. So Hermes taught, one of the things he was big on teaching was about selfless love, right? And selfless love was the love whereby, you're doing things for others with no thought about what's in it for you. Then, the other side of his teaching was prosperity. He's also the god of prosperity. So this wand is in Happy Science. We use it often with our ritual prayers for the prayer for success and also prayers for prosperity. So who cares? This has got issues, hasn't it? So through the teachings of prosperity, which is really connected to progress, progress and prosperity are very connected. So through our progress, we aim to attain prosperity, but we also want to get prosperity through selfless love. See, so if we can give selfless love and find a way to have a business that benefits millions of people, right, and think about benefiting those people, and then naturally the result of that is this prosperity, then that's a wonderful prosperity if it's come about through selfless love. Okay, and the spirit world. So that's what I was saying. That was the other side of his teaching. So he really concentrated on selfless love, prosperity, and the spirit world. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So basically he was born on the island of Crete about 4,300 years ago. If you look on Wikipedia, you will find that they will say he was the son of Zeus. That's not true, because Master said Zeus was actually born about 800 years after Hermes. So he's definitely not the son of Zeus. The reason that came about was Hermes was very famous, and his religious order became quite large. So they actually were, afterwards some legends were built through the Zeus teachings that made it sound like Hermes was a son of Zeus. But he was alive 800 years before Zeus, so it's impossible. And you can also see how that's true, because Zeus was alive around about the time with the Egyptians, with the pharaohs and with the pyramids. And for them, they revered Hermes. So in the Egyptian pyramids, there's revering Hermes as being God. But Zeus was alive at the same time. You don't tend to look at your contemporaries as God. It's much, as Master said, even now while he's alive, it's very hard for people to look at Master and revere him as like Alcantari or God or Buddha, because he's alive. But once a person passes over to the other world and the people reflect to see all the great things they did, suddenly they tend to revere them. Jesus was the same, right? I mean, all the greats tend to be like that. Socrates was the same. So people have trouble revering these greats while they're actually alive on earth. Okay, so this is going to be, I'm going to hold this while we play this, because this is our first video clip that we're going to have. This is going to show the first encounter of Hermes with encountering Ophelis, and he's also to be here with his wife Aphrodite. Aphrodite was known as the goddess of love or goddess of beauty, and so she was his wife during this time.
Here.
Live somewhere on this hill.
Is that so?
Hey, look at the sea.
Oh.
Isn't it beautiful?
Oh, how pretty.
Huh? Where are the boys?
Huh?
This looks like it may be some kind of omen.
Hermes,
Aphrodite!
listen well, Hermes. You are about to embark on a journey that will mark the start of a new life.
The start of a new life. Why should I believe what you say?
Because I am Ophelius.
Ophelius! But even if you are indeed the almighty god of creation, why would you come to me?
Because, Hermes, it is only you who can bring happiness to the poor people of Greece. However, you will only succeed if you fulfill the following mission. It will not be easy.
Lord Ophelius, I am ready. What is the mission?
Listen carefully, Prince Hermes. You must overthrow the powerful and evil ruler Minos, for he threatens the peace of Greece.
But Minos is too strong.
His forces are 50 times more powerful than yours, and the battle will be long and fierce. But you must endure all of this in order to protect the people of Greece. Use your inner power and wisdom to find a way to defeat Minos. The fate of Greece is entirely in your hands, Hermes.
I'm not sure I understand.
Have courage, for there is nothing to fear.
All I have is my inner power and wisdom.
Okay, so this was his first meeting with Ophelius up on the hill. Funny how it often happens up on a hill, like Moses up on the hill. People have these great meetings. But so Greece actually went to a stage. Greece became a leading place in the world at one stage. I mean, obviously now Greece has so many problems. They've got their financial problems. It's not a country that you see as a leading country. But there was a time when they were the leading country. There was a time when Egypt was leading, right? There's been a time when, America's been leading recently. There's been a time when England was leading. I must teach us that this is actually a plan from God, from the heavenly world, that to dictate different places for the light of God to shine. So Hermes was born with the mission to create a wonderful place, a civilization in Greece. And obviously Ophelius was there to guide him. So Ophelius, as I said before, was the past life of Hermes. Hermes was the past life of Shakyamuni Buddha. And this King Minos, he was a tyrant of the time who had huge power, and he was collecting slaves. And from a point of view, it'd be like looking at a tyrant in the world today and wanting to overthrow him. So the mission from God to Hermes was, you must overthrow this tyrant, even though he's got 50 times the resources of you. And as he said, you'll require the power that you will need, require inner power and wisdom to do that. So Hermes then took on the task to do it. So this is the very starting point of Hermes waking up to his mission. One thing I don't think I said at the beginning, but Hermes was also a prince of a royal family. And if you think, Shakyamuni Buddha also was a prince of a royal family. So they're deliberately born into this family, so they've got the opportunity to actually do something big. But of course, Buddha renounced his place as the prince and went off to seek enlightenment. But so Hermes didn't ever renounce his. He just wanted to use his role to be able to unify all of Greece and make the people happy. Okay, so this is his second encounter with Ophelius.
I completed my mission and have overthrown Minos for the people of Crete. But the victory not without its cost. Many people lost their lives. What was the purpose of all their deaths? However, to unify Greece, it is necessary to engage in battle. But at the same time, the people's blood must not be shed in vain. And so, I need something to console my people.
Hermes.
Lord Ophelius!
Yes, Hermes. You have fulfilled your first mission successfully. You have found courage, but you still feel emptiness. It is time for you to learn about the world of the gods.
The world of the gods?
Only after that can you know who you really are, and who I really am.
I do not understand. What do you mean by who you really are? Are you not the god of creation? The god Ophelius?
Yes, but about 2,000 years ago in Greece, I was born in the flesh. I was born a man. I taught people of that age, and that was your past life.
I still don't understand.
We are one and the same. I am you, and you are me.
Then that means I am the god, Ophelius?
One day you will be able to fully understand the truth of what I am telling you. Come to this hilltop alone twice a day, once at daybreak and once at dusk. Before dawn breaks, sit with a calm heart and mind, and you will be able to communicate with the world of the gods. Then, when evening comes, reflect on what you thought about and did throughout the day. And as you sit watching the sea, reflect upon the images that appear to you in your mind. Make sure that you end each day with the correct, calm attitude. Continue this practice for 2 weeks, and things will become clearer.
My blind mother is still trapped all alone in Lindos.
You are still far too young. You must listen to me and observe the traditions of this land. Do you think I'm old-fashioned?
That's not what I'm trying to say.
My mind keeps wandering. I must train it to be as clear and tranquil as a mirror. I see now. Everything in this world is allowed to live. What is this mysterious feeling? That man, is he me in the future?
Okay, so Nova, before we've seen depicted the the enlightenment of Hermes, before we see Buddha's enlightenment, but this was Hermes' enlightenment. So here the spiritual enlightenment. So after Orpheus came, he suggested to him to practice self-reflection and practice meditation, calm the mind. So for 2 weeks, and it showed no matter whether it was raining, he was dedicated, like every morning, get up early, go to the mountain, sit there, meditate, every night go back and meditate. So in the morning he was calming the mind, and in the evening he was doing self-reflection, which is just what's taught at Happy Science. Morning, try and calm the mind, evening, reflect on your day. So then, after that, he found that his mind was wandering. But similar to Buddha, same teaching. Buddha had all these attachments in his mind about his family. So Hermes had all the problems that were happening around him, but he couldn't get them out of his mind. So he realised he needed to take control of the mind, put them out of my mind. I'm choosing to calm the mind now, worry about my problems later. So take control of the mind. So he determined to make the mind tranquil as a mirror. And after he did this, he experienced enlightenment. I mean, Buddha, for 6 years they say Buddha was off, and Hermes, that showed us 2 weeks. Well, maybe, he was a bit lucky. He had a bit of a shorter time frame. But and he saw through to the true nature of life. So when he was looking at all the animals and the birds and the bugs and the flowers, he was seeing that everything, as he said, realized everything's being allowed to live. Everything's being allowed to live. And this seemed to be his enlightenment. So I remember the other week we were talking about this, is that we as humans tend to think that we're keeping ourselves alive, right? So each day I eat my breakfast and I have my dinner and I breathe the air without even thinking about it, but I do all these things to keep myself alive. But actually, this is just my physical body. My true self is my spiritual being, my spiritual body, which continues to live even after my body's died. So we are always being given this energy to live for free, and we're being allowed to live. God's decided it's good for us to live and chose for us to live. So we are being allowed to live. And when we understand how fully that truth is, that we're being allowed to live, gratitude wells up in our hearts. To God, thank you for allowing me to live. Thank you for the energy that gives me life every day. Thank you for the fact that if I wasn't alive right now, I'd be still alive in the spirit world, even if my body was dead. So, I'm not actually keeping myself alive. I'm keeping my physical body alive. But God is the one that gives me life every day. So thank you, God, for this energy you constantly give me every day. So let's go to this next. This is the third encounter with Orpheus. Now, I didn't say about how he defeated King Minos, because I think you should watch the movie another time. I don't want to spoil the whole movie. So he did defeat King Minos in that last encounter, and it was inner power and great wisdom. It was really smart how he defeated the 50 times army and 50 times resources of Minos. But I'm not going to tell you. We've got the movie here. You can borrow it or come and watch it sometime. Watch the Hermes movie. Yeah, it's very clever how he defeated Minos.
I am now the new king of Crete. But what shall I teach my people? There must be something important they need to know. The will of the universe. It has been in existence since the beginning of time. It is also the will of God. It's you, Lord Ophelius.
Hermes, I want you to have this. It is the staff of Keleukion. It is a divine instrument that can perform many miracles. As long as you believe in its power when you use it, your wishes will come true. However, you must never use it for your own personal gain or to satisfy your own desires.
So you asked how he got the Keleukion. There he is. That's how he got it. You know, Ophelius descended with Pegasus, and gave it to him. You know, there's a saying in Buddhism and in happy science: matter is void, void is matter. So, you know, things from the spirit world can actually be manifested into this world. So, you know, just using the power of a miracle, the power of the mind, Ophelius manifested something that he had in the spirit world into this world. You know, gods can do that. And of course, it doesn't happen regularly, because then it wouldn't be a miracle. It would be an everyday occurrence. Yeah, but so that's how he received it. But the key here is, you know, he was sitting up there. He earnestly wanted to nurture the people. Hermes was sitting on the hill. He's the king. He knows he's got the responsibility. What can I do? I must teach the people something important. What can I teach them? So he really wanted to help the people. And this is the mind of a good king. You know, a great king, not a person who just wants to get into power and hold power, which seems to be the norm in the world. People want to, you know, like in Syria, right? It's just about controlling power, controlling the people. It's not about making the people happy. It's just about maintaining control. But Hermes was different. He had this power, this position, and what can I do to nurture the people? So then Ophelius descended. He gave him a Keleukion staff. Actually, they do show in the movies a couple of places where he uses it. One is for divining, water divining. And so when the people want to know where to dig a hole where there's water, Hermes goes off with his staff, and the staff leads him to a place, and then tells them to dig here, and sure enough, there's water there. So as he said, it was a divine instrument that can perform many miracles, and as long as you believe in its power when you use it, your wishes will come true. This is the power of faith. Actually, it's the same with when we do Kigan, ritual prayers here. And actually even faith is so important. You know, faith is so important. Believing, it's always taught in religion, the power of faith. And why is that? You think, why do they teach us to have faith? Why is it so important to have faith? And the answer is, it's because our minds are so powerful. Our minds can create things, right? Our minds are actually, we are miniature gods in a way, in that our minds are always creating things, our lives. So if we absolutely believe in something, if we picture it and we believe it, it will manifest, right? But if we say it, but we don't really believe it, or we do a Kigan prayer and we don't really believe it's going to happen, our mind is going to create that result. The mind will create the result that we believe. That's what our mind does. So that's why, you know, it's important to believe. Through believing, you have the power to make things happen. Yeah. So we often use that in a negative way in our subconscious. So somebody can say, I want to be wealthy. And they say, I want to be wealthy because I want to help lots of people, right? And that's the thought, and it's a wonderful thought, and it's happening here. But if they reflected and went really deeply, they would find a thought that I'm not really going to get wealthy, or I don't really deserve wealth, or wealth actually creates a lot of problems in people's life, and wealth actually isn't a good thing. So often people can have in the top part of their brain an idea that I want to be wealthy, but if they look really deeply, they find some negativity towards wealth. And that negativity is what will keep the wealth away from them. So one of the things we do in Happy Science is that's why we practice self-reflection and deep meditation, to see what's really going on inside my mind. What am I thinking about these particular things? So, yeah, and we change those thoughts. Once we change those thoughts deep within, for instance, if we found a thought, we said, I don't think that wealth is that good. You know, maybe I've heard before that it's hard for rich people to get into heaven, something like that. Then we think, and we change that thought. We think, no, actually, wealth, through creating wealth by benefiting people and using that wealth to benefit more people, obviously I'm going to create a lot of happiness in the world. That's got to be a good thing. And we change our thoughts deep within, and then our lives can change. But often in our life, a lot of problems, not just wealth, but relationships, all sorts of things. We're being held back by thoughts that are deep in our mind. It's not the thought that's up here that we want to think, but it's the thought that's deep within our mind that we sometimes don't even recognise it's there. And the other thing he said was, you cannot use this for personal gain. So, you know, you have to use the staff to help the people. Okay, so now this is, I believe this is where so he has a coronation. So Hermes we've been talking about on this side. Well, there's this aspect of Hermes where he wanted to, how could he unify the people? And I'll show it first and talk about it afterwards.
I have decided to move the capital to Heraklion. It has a large harbor there. We will use trade as a weapon for international negotiations. Friends from Greece, Asia, and Africa, I would like to thank you for attending my coronation ceremony. I promise as the new king of Crete, I will do my utmost to preserve the prosperity and peace of the Mediterranean world. I request you all to bring your finest goods here to the port of Heraklion. Our highly trained officials will inspect and determine value on your products. And in return, you all will be able to receive much needed foreign goods in a corresponding value.
Here, take a look. Look at this.
I sincerely hope that you all will join the Hermes Trade Alliance, and together we can enjoy a more efficient trade than ever before.
Your Majesty, Caipeia of Rhodes has made a proposal for peace. He says he wants to join your trade alliance. This time you've won without even a fight. Look, as long as King Hermes lives, there will be peace.
You know, it's interesting, you think trade and materials and making things, it seems so materialistic, but we live in a material world and we all need things. We need food, we need clothes, we need so many things. So Hermes could see that it was a way to make people happy, like, as a way of giving love. If you can produce something and then have a chance, like your paintings around here, right? They're painted with love and people enjoy them. So if you can do something, if you can apply your skills to be able to make something that other people can benefit from, that's actually love, right? So, but Hermes could see that this is a way that everybody can live happily. People doing their thing and then people trading their goods and people from other countries gathering from different goods, selling those goods, but he wanted fairness in it. He wanted there to be a trading system that was fair. So this is one of the key things that Hermes did. I think Master said before that Hermes was really the founder of the origin of money, the concept of money, because people were trading and it's hard. You've got different people with different goods. How do you trade that? So eventually they came up with the idea of a currency that enabled them to be able to have money so that they could trade more easily. Yeah, so actually if you think about it, when he also wanted to use trade as like a weapon, right? So you can win a war without fighting. Donald Trump's a little bit like that, right? I mean, he seems to have been able to create some relationship with China at the moment by saying, well, we want to, look at this trading situation, and he's tying the way they act to trade. So he's in a way also trying to do the same thing. So I'm saying act in the right way and we'll be happy to trade. If people don't act in the right way, we're not willing to trade. So this Hermes thought must have said before, actually, that the thinking in the Western civilization originated from Hermes, and the thinking in the Eastern civilization originated from Shakyamuni Buddha. So Buddha's thought has infiltrated and guided the Eastern civilization, and Hermes is what's guided the Western civilization. And now what's happening, these two thought currents come together in Japan, and that's why Happy Science is aiming to incorporate both sides. Okay, so he said in here, he used trade as a weapon for international negotiations, promised to preserve the prosperity of the Mediterranean world, and create a system of fair and efficient trade, and aims through peace through trade alliances, which is just what I was talking about there. Okay, so let's just move on now. We're going to move along nice and quickly. Okay, so this is one side of Hermes. So Hermes had this rational side, right? He was a political leader, plus he was a religious leader. So on one hand, he thought about the people, but he also had the rational way to be able to think. I mean, he defeated the king in the fighting, so he was able to be a military leader as well. Political leader to be able to guide the people. Economic leader to be able to show people the way to prosperity. So this is a real rational mind, but he also had this mystical side where he discovered the spirit world and taught people about the spirit world. So now we're going to see Hermes' experience into the spirit world and how he got to know about the spirit world.
Hello, King Hermes.
It's you two. We've met before?
My name's Agape. I'm Pan, but we are really... We're really fairies. We were sent over here by the god Ophelius to help you. But you are going to have to look more deeply within yourself if you are to learn more about the spiritual world.
Oh yes, I see.
King Hermes, put on these sandals. That should help.
But these things are so small. I don't see how they will fit me.
Oh, stop worrying about it and just believe you can put them on. Don't think, just do it. Only then can everything start.
All right, I'll put them on.
You humans are always trying to think... Put the left foot on first. You know, you make things so impossible. Don't think so much, just try them on.
It fits.
Well, of course. Now put the right one on.
They are perfect.
Click your heels together once.
Like this?
Oh! It's easy once you get used to it.
Oh.
Now you can go anywhere you want in the other world. We will show you around. Let's go!
Who is that down there? Is that me? But I'm up here, in the sky.
What you see down there is only your physical body. The sandals have helped your spiritual body to slip out.
So this is my spiritual body?
Oh, that's right! Come on, let's go!
Huh? What happened to me? Where am I?
Welcome to heaven! Well, technically it's just the gateway to heaven.
Huh?
Those are flower fairies.
Fairies?
That's right. There's a fairy in every flower. Just like a human, every flower has a soul inside. And it's that fairy that makes that particular flower bloom. Most people think that flowers bloom because the seasons change. But that's not the reason why. Each fairy decides the color and shape of its own flower, and they decide when it blooms. The flower fairies do their best to make this world a beautiful place.
Huh? Why does each fish have a golden fin? They look like they're glowing.
That's just their halo. When the fish return to heaven, their halos glow with joy and happiness. The same thing happens with human beings, too.
Ah, I see.
Humans have halos, too, when they are truly happy.
Everything in this world is new to me.
Hermes, you still don't fully understand everything. This is the real world. The world on Earth is just a reflection of this world.
But
Don't worry, you'll understand everything soon enough.
watch out!
No fear!
Ah! What's that?
Nothing has any substance in the spiritual world. You see those mountains over there? If you believe you can fly through the mountains, you can. If you wanted to, you could go right through them. But if you felt like climbing the mountain instead, you could just walk on the ground. See?
It seems that in this world, what you see isn't as important as what you think.
I think you're beginning to understand now, Hermes.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, let's move on. There's still so much more to see.
Ah, it's the most beautiful lake that I've ever seen.
You know, you can do whatever you like in this lake. You can swim or even walk on the water. Anything is possible.
I know.
See? What did I tell you? Why don't we try diving now?
Huh? You say diving? No!
It's a magical lake. The bottom of this lake is connected to every single ocean on the Earth.
Right. Isn't it cool? Yeah. I mean, this is the truth. This really exists. It's not a fairy tale. We're not watching some pretend movie. This is based on what Master says absolutely is the truth. And the more we understand this, the more we relate to it, the more we say, wow, one day I'm going to get to go back to that world. I'm going to get to explore that world. I'm going to have these adventures flying through mountains. I mean, when I saw them flying through the mountains, I thought that makes so much sense. I often thought before, if you went through a mountain or a door, I mean, how would that be? But in the other world, it's actually, instead of being matter, it's actually thought and light. So it's like thought condensed into light. So it's light going through light. So as he went through and there's all those, it actually had substance. You could see it, you know, different colours, different things, but it was just going through the light that was the actual mountain, the mountain of light. So yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, and yeah, we can dive down the oceans and explore. And so everything in this world is a shadow of the other world. So the other world, everything we see here, the oceans, the mountains, actually they also exist in the other world, but in a spiritual form. Yeah, it's just going to be such a joy to get back there, something to look forward to, right? You know, of course we want to live the best lives we can in this world, achieve as much as we can, undergo our soul training, never want to go back just because we got sick of this world and go back there. You know, we've got a mission to live out our lives here. But it's nice to know that this is the tough place to be. This is the place for soul training. It's like going to the gym, but eventually when we go home, there's such an incredible world. I mean, they say like 99% of everything that ever existed is now extinct, but they all had souls as well. They all exist in the other world. So every animal that ever existed also exists in the other world. As part of this, I didn't show it here because, you can only show so much, but Hermes was talking to mermaids. Mermaids, they did exist once upon a time, but this world became a place they can't live anymore. But they still exist in the other world. So, all the dinosaurs, all the animals, all that's ever existed still exists. Oh my gosh, we've just got so much fun exploring to do, one day when we get back there. So he said, that was interesting too. He said at the beginning, welcome to heaven. Well, technically, just a gateway to heaven. That's because that was the astral realm. In Happy Science, Master teaches the three-dimensional world we live, all the souls from the different dimensions come here. And that's why this world's got so many different types of people, because the different people with the different ways of thinking all meeting in this one place. Once we get to the other world, depending on the state of your mind, you end up being in a realm with like-minded people. And hence you don't really develop as much, because if you've got all people who are agreeable and they're thinking the same way as you don't get the opportunity to see so many different perspectives. But once we come to this world, there's so many different perspectives, and trying to deal with people and handle people and get on well with people and give love to people that you might not always like, so it's a real challenge. But Master said just beyond this three-dimensional world is the fourth dimension, and the fourth dimension is the astral realm. And last week we were talking about this. Actually, it was out of the Challenge of Enlightenment book, and I always a study, and you come across new stuff all the time in Happy Science. That's why it's so great studying these teachings. There's always something new to find out. And Master explained how when we've got this physical body, and we also have this spiritual body, but outside of our spiritual body is our astral body. Now, our astral body conforms to our thoughts and takes on the shape. So if I was to die and imagine that I'm dressed as I'm dressed now, I would look dressed just as I'm dressed right now, because my mind is imagining that, and outer clothes, everything that I'm wearing is my astral body conforming to my thought. And that's the astral body from the astral realm, or the fourth dimension. But he said, when we move from the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension, which is really the beginning of heaven, we drop our astral body. So we leave this astral body behind, and then we're really just wearing our spiritual body. So I thought, oh my gosh, it's this wonder of the spirit world, that we can never stop learning, Anyway. So, welcome to heaven. Well, technically just a gateway to heaven. So what we were looking at is the astral realm. I must have said all the plants, all the animals, all live in this astral realm as well. Because it's a realm of instinctual love. So even animals have instinctual love. They instinctively build their nests and have their eggs and look after their young, and a cat will drag its kittens out of a burning house. It's all run on instinct, And humans have this instinctual love as well. Instinctual love is like a love that makes you preserve yourself. And that's also, in a way, it's necessary, but it's also the love we have to get beyond. Because with this instinctual love, this is the part that makes us want to defend ourselves and think about ourselves and protect ourselves. But it's needed for survival. And animals use it. That's what animals live on, this instinctive love, and it's the law of the jungle, and you're really based on fear, it's based on staying alive and reproducing, and getting food. Animals are living like that. It's an instinctive way. But beyond that, the human way of thinking is when we go beyond that, instead of thinking about just trying to survive, we start thinking about giving love to each other. The joy that, stop thinking about myself and try and bring happiness to other people. And that's quite a big step to go from the desire to look after myself and make sure I'm okay, make sure I'm happy, to the, I don't care about myself, I just want to make other people happy. This is a whole change in dimensions. This is from the astral realm into the beginning of heaven. Okay. So he said here also, every flower has a fairy, which is its soul. This is just so beautiful to think that these flowers that are blooming, what's causing them to bloom is the soul of the flower, which is the fairy. He said the other world's the real world, and this world's just a reflection of that, and nothing has any substance in the spirit world. Thought is everything there. And that's back to that idea why thought's so powerful, and through faith things can happen, because as soon as we have faith and we believe something, we've actually created it in the spirit world. That world's, we're already existing in that world. That's not separate. It's part of our world, but we just happen to be looking through physical eyes in the physical world, and that's what we see. But as soon as we start having strong thoughts about something, we're creating it spiritually. So then holding that thought will eventually make it manifest in this world. And that's why, because the thought is everything. Thought actually creates. Okay, so let's watch another excerpt here. This is the last clip, and this is Ophelis talking about faith. This is sort of towards the end of the movie, and he's talking about faith, and Hermes is talking about love.
Hermes, you have just learned a very important lesson. It is a lesson you must always remember. Do not forget that God is never defeated by evil. Furthermore, Do not forget to believe in the strength and power you have within yourself, for it was that power and your unyielding faith that destroyed the evil creature Minos. Always have faith in God. That is what will make you invincible forever.
I think I'm about to embark upon a brand new life. And now it will rest upon me to teach people how they should live and what is truly important in our life. I will give people love. I will give it as freely as the clear wind blows. Once the wind stops blowing, it ceases to exist. Just like when one person stops loving another, love also dies. That is why it's important to love and keep loving. We must continue loving one another if we want to banish unhappiness from this land of Hermes.
Please tell me and Eros more about this wonderful love. I'm sure the people want to know more as well. I feel that this will be the dawn of a new age.
Yes. We are standing at the brink of a new legend. It will be the start of great myth. It will be the start of great prosperity. Let us create a history that is worthy of the gods.
Okay, so we heard Phyllis speaking, and he said basically God is never defeated by evil. Believe in the strength and the power you have in yourself, and always have faith in God. That is what will make you invincible forever. Okay, these two sides at the top there, they're both sides of happy science teaching. You know, one is God will never be defeated by evil, but faith in God, believing in God, the power of believing and having faith in God and being able to pray to God. That brings a great sense of well-being to have that faith. But on the other side, which is to believe in the strength and the power you have in yourself, this is the other side of the happy science teaching. We have divine nature ourselves. We are children of God. You know, we have the ability to control our own minds, our own lives, our own thoughts. So these are the two sides of happy science teaching. That's why it's so balanced. One is we have faith in God, and one we have faith in ourselves. You know, and we try to live our lives in a way that God would be happy with, and the angels would celebrate, but also in a way that we try to contribute to the world in a way, because we know that we are people here to contribute. We're people that are with the mind of God, with the mission of trying to, you know, we're just not like ordinary people living in the world, like just wandering around blindly. We know the truth, you know. We've learnt the truth that we're here as spiritual beings training our soul with the mission of trying to make this world a utopia eventually. So we're not blind, you know, we're really lucky, we're gifted. But this brings power by having this knowledge and the inner strength. It should, faith in God and knowledge of our inner strength should make us all feel really strong about our ability to fulfill our mission of develop ourselves and contribute to utopia. But Hermes, his speech was beautiful. He said, I will give people love. I will give it as freely as the clear wind blows. When the wind stops blowing, it ceases to exist. Just like when one person stops loving another, love also dies. That is why it is important to love and keep on loving. We must continue loving and wish to banish unhappiness. What a clear teaching about the idea of love. It's like the wind. You know, I mean, the wind is invisible, just like love's invisible. And when the wind's not blowing, there's no wind, right? And it's the same. If people aren't giving each other love, there's no love. So he's just saying, while people keep giving love, it's like the wind of love, and it blows. So we're going to hear Master now. I've got a short lecture from Master Okawa. It's about 6 minutes long, and he's talking about Hermes and this teaching, exactly this teaching about Hermes teaching about love and how love blows like the wind.
So why did Hermes talk about love as a clear wind? I would like you to think about this. What is it that is clear and transparent? To explain it in a different way, it is the spiritual body, the spirit, or the soul. Let's think about this. It is probably true that most of you cannot see spiritual beings of the other world. However, many of you may have thought about the idea of having a guardian spirit, or may have thought that angels of light are constantly trying to help and guide you. Probably you know it as knowledge. Try to place yourself in the shoes of these spiritual beings. Spiritual beings that cannot be seen are trying to help you. They are trying to make you happy. They are encouraging you and guiding you from the other world so that you won't choose the path of unhappiness. They fight for you when you do wrong and are about to be controlled by evil spirits or Satan. They are making every effort day and night in order to bring you happiness. However, you cannot see them. You do not even know if they exist or not, and because you don't know, you don't appreciate their presence. So, in order to teach you the philosophy of love, it may have to be in a visible form in this world. However, when you leave this world and return to heaven in the other world, and become an angel of light, what do you think your mission is? It will be the work of pure love itself. It is invisible work. You will not be appreciated and noticed. People will not acknowledge what you are doing, but you will think about the people and keep making efforts in hope of their happiness. That is why I am saying this is love like the clear wind. This is what awaits us. If you cannot understand this love like a clear wind, you will never be an angel. This love itself is the work of angels. Who recognizes the work of angels? Probably not. Do you know that they are working in churches? Or the fact that when war is going on, they are comforting people? You do not know what they are doing to make this world peaceful. But they are indeed making an effort to accomplish this. Many angels are working hard, but nobody in this world can see what they are doing. Their love is pure and transparent. They won't stop their work, even if people in this world do not understand or recognize their existence, or even if people deny the existence of angels. Still, the angels will not stop helping people in this world. Their love is just like a clear wind. Its existence is invisible, but people can feel when it passes by. The wish to make people happy is becoming materialized through people in this world. This is the love of angels. So the love like the clear wind that Hermes taught was actually about the love of angels. On the other hand, what is the love of a person? As I just mentioned, human love is visible love. People try to do something nice to others or to give love to others, but they are always seeking something in return. Don't you expect something in return when you love people? When a husband loves his wife, of course he expects that she loves him back. The same goes when a wife loves her husband. She expects something in return. Even if you give love to people around you, you probably expect they will give something in return. Isn't this true? There are many kinds of volunteer activities, but as people do these activities, they most often seek for the credit or recognition that is accompanied by the activities. What I am saying is that even if an action is recognized as love in this world, it is still not enough from the spiritual perspective. Of course, even if people seek something in return, it is still important to be nice and helpful to others rather than doing nothing. However, if such an act of love contains one's ego, selfishness, and self-satisfying desires, then that love is like a wind with sand and dust. It would be like a sandstorm, as if dust is mixed in with the clear wind. This is when love contains a sense of self-satisfaction. However, an angel's love is not like this. Their love is devoting love, love that gives, or love that expects nothing in return. They just give and only give. They do not expect anything in return. So even someone tries to do something nice in this world, if one is expecting people's praise or promotion or money in return, then it is not angel's love in the truest sense. The love that Hermes taught was love that expects nothing in return. He tried to create a utopia in this world based on this selfless love. He tried to build an ideal world and aim for progress and development. Hermes did not give up on this world. He wished to create harmony in this physical world too. This world of happiness already exists in the other world. The other world is divided into two big categories, heaven and hell. Heaven is a place where people filled with light and happiness live. It is a place where people return to when their hearts were filled with light and good thoughts while they were living on earth. Then, what about hell? This is a place for people who used to live only for themselves, for their own desires, and at others' expense. These people hurt, killed, or ruined other people's lives, and thought of it as insignificant as long as things went well for themselves. Such people fall down to hell. These are the two different worlds. The world of heaven is filled with happiness. It is utopia. If the purpose were to only be able to return there, that would be the end of the story. However, this world was the cause for heaven and hell to be divided. The way people live and think while they are in this world separates heaven and hell. So, unless we make this world an ideal place, hell will never disappear. We are simply postponing the work to our next life. In the other world, angels visit hell, or purgatory as it is called in Christianity, to save those who have fallen to hell. It is indeed a very tough job. They are working very hard every day. In order to make these angels' work much easier, it is important to increase the number of people who are aware of the truth and make an effort to create utopia in this world. This was Hermes' idea.
It's interesting, often in religion talk about heaven and hell, and people want to go to heaven and avoid hell. But what I love about happy science is there's no threats or anything. It's just teaching. It's all about the state of the mind. If you create a beautiful mind full of love and goodness and wishing good things on other people, creating happiness, you're going to go to heaven. If you create a mind and live a life that creates suffering and hurts other people, then you're going to go to hell. There's no threats, believe in us, or you go to hell, nothing like that. So it's just the laws of the universe, the laws of God and the laws of the mind. But also within happy science, Master teaches, he doesn't want us to just try and just get to heaven. He wants us to become like the angels, the realm of, like he's talking about angels. Practice, make your love so pure, so that make sure that in your mind you've got no thoughts that you're doing things for others. That seems good when you're doing things for other people, trying to make people happy. But then he says, don't just stop there. Check your mind. Make sure that you haven't got some thoughts about some sort of return, wanting some praise, wanting some money, wanting them to look up to you in a certain way, wanting to control them, or wanting them to love you back even. It's the joy of giving the love. When you receive the love back, that's the icing on the cake, right? But the relationships are just so wonderful when the joy comes from making the other person happy, giving them love, and that's it. That's where your joy comes from. There's no controlling and no needing to get anything back. This is a wonderful way to live a life in a relationship. So we're nearly finished up. So I'm just going to go through a couple of these points here that Master pointed, and then there's a short meditation where we'll do a self-reflection thinking about. It's only about 5 minutes, so we're not going to have long to reflect. But for half of it, think about, is my love pure? Are there times where I do things and I expect something back? Just look for that ever. And that's where I say, once you notice it, then you can choose to change that tendency. And the other part will be to feel gratitude to the guardian spirits and the angels and the invisible beings that have been guiding us all our lives. You know, how often do we give thanks to our guardian spirit that's been looking after us and trying to guide us every day? It's every day they're loving us and helping us. I mean, if we spend our life, you know, every day trying to help even our children, say, and there was never any thanks and there was never even knowing that you're there, it'd be really hard to keep giving love all the time to someone who never ever appreciated you, right, and never even spoke to you, didn't even know you were there, but to constantly give them love. But that's what it's like for the guardian spirits. Most people in the world don't even know they exist, so they're there every day loving and trying to guide, but people don't even know that they're there. Yeah, must be tough to love somebody under those circumstances. Okay, so first Master said here, when you leave this world and return to heaven and the other world and become an angel of light, what do you think your mission is? It will be the work of pure love itself. It is invisible work. It is important to be nice and helpful to others rather than doing nothing. However, if such an act of love contains one ego, selfishness and self-satisfying desires, then that love is like a wind with sand and dust. Angels' love is not like this. Their love is devoting love, love that gives, or love that expects nothing in return. They just give and only give. They did not expect anything in return. The love that Hermes taught was love that expects nothing in return. He tried to create utopia in this world based on this selfless love. Yeah, and this is what we're trying to practice or learn, and Happy Science is about, and we call it the love that gives. Love that gives just doesn't expect anything back. And the wonderful thing is that it's not like you're losing anything, because from my own experience in Happy Science and is that when you give that love, there's a joy. There's actually, that's where the happiness comes from. There's a feeling in the heart, just this feeling of well-being, a feeling of happiness, a feeling of warmth, and a feeling of light that comes to you when you live doing that. So it's not like you're trying to make your life miserable now, giving to everybody, and then I'll reap my rewards later. The moment you give love, you experience love. That's actually the bottom line of love. That's the truth of love. The universe is full of love. God is love. And the moment that you feel love for another person, this love flows through you and you feel it. That's what love is. That's just feeling love for another person. But where we stop feeling love is where we then want something back. And when we start thinking about, well, that person's not really treating me very well. I'm not very happy with the way they've been acting. I did so much for them, and look at the way they're treating me. You see, as soon as we start thinking like that, our hearts get in turmoil now, and we lose all that wonderful feeling that came from giving the love in the first place. So then love becomes the source of suffering. But that's just our thinking, our way of looking at things that make us do that. But once we recognise the truth and we recognise the joys in the giving the love, and we hear those thoughts in our mind, we say, no, that's not the right way of thinking. That's the sand that the Master's talking about that's blowing in my pure wind. I'm going to get rid of those thoughts and just enjoy the feeling of love. That's where we start to feel it. So, yeah. Okay, so let's do this little short practice here, which is only about 5 minutes long. So I'll do a first part, which will be a breathing concentration. We'll do a short meditation on just, for people who meditate. Of course, you can get into meditation very quickly, but we'll do a short breathing practice. It'll be about 2 minutes, and then that one I'll have the music playing, and just really concentrate on taking the breath deeply. So don't just breathe here up at the top, but actually breathe so that it goes really deeply into your stomach, and breathe deep in and then breathe deep out, and just follow the breath. Just try to think about nothing, but just experience the breathing. And we'll do that for 2 minutes, and then this will come back up again with some music. And it says here, check your intention when you give love to others, and maybe do that for a couple of minutes, and then do the second one, which is recognise the existence of invisible love, which is really realise that all our lives we've been receiving invisible love, even from our parents at times, and from our friends at times, and from the people who made us lunch today here. There was invisible love. They were wanting us to give us something, but especially our guardian and guiding spirits and God, who's loving us every day. So yeah, first one, just check our own love and make sure that we haven't been having expectations. And secondly, recognise the existence of invisible love. So let's start with the breathing concentration. And now we're going to do the practice of this checking the intention and recognise the existence of invisible love. Lasts about 5 minutes, so maybe spend a couple of minutes on each. So slowly, keep the minds really calm, because We're about to do our meditation shortly, the astral travel meditation. I mean, I feel like today, because the Master's teaching about the astral world and seeing Hermes visit the spirit world, Master's given us a meditation, a Zen meditation on astral travel back to our real home. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity. Now we're just in this really state of faith and calmness. So we're going to listen to a lecture from Master Okawa. But just keep this really calm state and listen to this. It's the beginning, and he's going to give us a guidance, and then he's going to give us a guidance into the Zen Astral Travel meditation, where our guardian spirit will be asked to take us and show us our real home, our true home in the spirit world. So just, like the surface of the mirror, let the mind be so calm and just allow the images to bubble up from deep down and just see what your guardian spirit presents you. So let's hear from Master.
Now let's move on to the next stage. This is actually the meditation for astral travel, but not everyone can practice it immediately. Instead, I would like you to practice taking your mind on a trip back to the heavenly world. From ancient times, people have talked of a paradise, a fabulous, ideal world we all once knew. We all have a memory of having lived there, but our present selves have long forgotten that. So let us leave behind this urban life, the life we live today, and imagine our home in heaven, a secret place in the mountains where nobody visits, a paradise with peach trees abloom with flowers. Let your eyes take in a panoramic view of this beautiful world. Gaze at the silver river flowing through the blue mountain under a clear blue sky, and hear the birds singing a fabulous symphony of sounds. Imagine this world of eternal bliss and happiness. Please sit tall with your back straight, but keep your shoulders and arms relaxed. Then calm your breathing again. In this posture, now journey off towards the world you came from, the world you once belonged to. Keep your eyes half closed. Each one of you has a home in heaven, a place you came from. Try to see this place. Look at what it is. The guardian spirit of each one of you, please show them their home in heaven. Guardian spirit of each one of you, show them where they came from.
Now quietly open your eyes. How was your meditation? What kind of world did you see? I'm sure you were able to see something during meditation. In the world I saw, there was a large river flowing gently. On the river, there was a bridge, and the center of that bridge gradually grew up and transformed its shape into a circle. Then the circle swiftly rose upward towards the spiritual sun high above, and then became one with it. It got closer and closer to the sun until the two finally merged. This was the world I saw. What kind of world did you see? The more you practice meditation, you will gradually become able to see the world where you once belonged to. Many of your friends are also there. You will be seeing them as well. So please try practicing this meditation. Going back to what Zen is all about, it is the way to experience travel back to the real world while still living in this physical, three-dimensional world, and to learn that the world of enlightenment and bliss is the world in its original state. This, I believe, is the real purpose of Zen. During our physical existence, we are bound to the ground by many different chains. The most essential thing in Zen meditation is to sever those chains and become free in the truest meaning. As the words emptiness or nothingness describe, it is to remove ourselves from the constraints of this world. Humans are bound up by the restrictions of this world, so at the very least, during meditation, let us set ourselves free from all of these worldly attachments and travel far into an infinite world. This is another way to remove our pains and sorrows. If it is difficult for you to practice self-reflection, you can cut away your daily worries and pains through a meditation such as this.
Okay, so just to sum up today then, hope you had a nice meditation. It's really calming, nice way to finish up. So then, just to summarize today, the Hermes Celebration, Hermes taught about love and progress and prosperity and also about the spirit world. So it's a real balance. If we can think of ourselves, remember so deeply that we are spiritual beings living in this world, aiming to develop ourselves and contribute to the world. And the way we do that is we give love to others in our one-on-one relationships, but in the relationships of our families and the relationships to the people in society and in our work, every area we try to give love. So we try to bring happiness to other people without expecting things back. Progress, try to develop ourselves. Progress, as Master said, is development is really about the expansion of love. Well, progress is about the expansion of love. So love and progress are very closely connected. So as we become a person that can give more pure love to more people, that's what progress really is. And prosperity, we want to be prosperous in our lives. We want to be people who can attract wealth into our lives, become people who can actually use that wealth, to benefit our own lives, make happy families, put our kids through school, live in a nice house, be successful in this world, but not with an attachment. It's with a feeling of, thank you very much, I'm so lucky to be able to receive this, and I want to use this also to benefit other people. But and always keep that mind of the truth about the spirit world, and that this isn't our real home. This is just a place we're visiting temporarily, undergoing soul training, and one day we return back to our home. The home that Hermes described and we could see today. And so thanks for all coming today, and sorry about the technical difficulties at the beginning. It was a test of perseverance and patience. Everybody got 100% on that because there's no complaints. Anybody have any questions about anything from today? It's all self-explanatory, right? How's your meditation? Yeah. You're still in your meditation, I think. Yeah, it's, and that's actually in the Eightfold Path, right? Seeing, right thought, right speech, right action, right living, right effort, right will, right meditation. Right meditation is the last one. And, master teachers and Buddha taught that it's not a matter of trying to, have that time of meditation and then you come out of meditation, then you live your normal life and then you go back into your meditation again. Real meditation is about finding that state of mind that's so calm, so peaceful, so full of love, and living in it all through our lives. So it's not a matter of, I feel great now, and then going and getting busy and angry and wound up again, and then, I'd better go and meditate, get myself back to that calm state. The real purpose of meditation is to be able to get into the state and enjoy it so much that we want to live there all the time. So we're not willing to let things rock us. So things happen in life that might upset us. But if we want to live in that meditative state, we choose to live there. And actually, this practice of giving love is the way to do that. Because if we don't have any attachments, if I don't have expectations from other people, if my joy comes from just trying to bring people happiness, and if they don't want to receive what I've got, that's fine. I shouldn't be caught up in that, shouldn't worry about that, shouldn't cause suffering. So if I'm not letting other people's words or actions create conflict in my life because I feel the joy from giving love, then it's easy for me to keep that calm meditative state, right? Because there's nothing outside there that can affect my state. It's only if I have needs that aren't being met that it can rock my inner world and take me from my my meditative state. So, let's finish up with prayer to the Lord and prayer to guardian and guiding spirits, which is in the blue book.